Let's be honest, shall we, okay? You're a man, you're alone.
What the hell are you on about, Jeremy? Of course I have friends. There's my barber, there's the nice lady who makes my coffee every morning. My dog? Okay, so maybe I'm not drowning in bussy. I wrote that line and I knew I wouldn't be able to say it with a straight face. God damn it. What I'm trying to say is, why is it so hard to make friends as an adult man? Specifically an adult man. Don't get me wrong, women are going through their own loneliness crisis right now, but when it comes to men, it seems like we're almost programmed to be bad at this. We got debuffed, and now we're swimming in cold pizza and AI girlfriends. Well, I say no more. So sue me if I want to have a friend I can hang out with on the weekends. So I've taken the time to comb through several articles and pick out some useful advice. I'm only including things that I think will actually help you. You know, some stuff you haven't heard before. Oh, just join a club. Yeah, come on, everyone knows that it's not that easy. No, I've got some actual, factual advice for you today. Roll the fan art, and then we'll get started. First, some background. Why do men have such a hard time linking up? It's not just me, right? It feels programmed into us. You see a guy at the bar, you want to talk to him, but you're afraid of looking desperate. Even though you know he's probably just as miserable as you, there's this unspoken rule that you never just go up and talk to another man. He's gonna think you're gay, which is strange because the majority of us aren't actually homophobic in any way, except for this, for some reason. Maybe it's just the generational aversion to talking about your problems. You're a man, you have to look strong. On top of the unspoken rule, a lot of us suffer from a lack of trust in other people. You know, maybe you were burned by somebody in the past, maybe it's a lack of time. After all, you gotta make that money just to tread water in 2025. That's honestly what it feels like right now, we're just treading water. Historically, men have always had to focus more on their careers than their relationships. So it feels awkward when you flip it around. Maybe you are naturally introverted, and it just makes it more difficult to open up to people. Maybe you're just being too picky, who knows. What I do know is that men don't make friends the same way women do. Women are better at opening up and being vulnerable with each other. Men just aren't like that. Us dudes need something to take our minds off the fact that we're bonding. We can't do it directly. You know, we like to make fun of women for playing games and getting into little catfights. A lot of them have trouble starting romantic relationships using direct means. But the same is true for platonic male friendships. We can't do it directly. It has to be our wife's friend's husband, or someone you watch the game with, or your golfing partner. Golf! Or your boss at work. It's been observed that most men need a mutually consumed activity in order to connect. The golf game is played individually, together. Sports in general are intense, and they can focus your mind on something rather than the friends that you're making.
Stanley, I think it's sports ball. Oh, what fun.
Watching sports and getting angry at your losing team together, it's something that is mutually consumed. Some therapists have been structuring their therapy sessions around the fact that men need to be doing something in order to open up. It can be as simple as passing a ball around or going for a walk and talk. And that's kind of the idea you want to have with these ideas. If you want to make friends as a guy, you have to find and create scenarios like this. Number 1, find a place and frequent it regularly on a strict schedule. You might start seeing the same people over and over. This is a really common piece of advice, and you've probably already tried it to some extent. But you might have to get more creative about it. The gym is a classic example, but you can also find a walking path. I'm a huge fan of this one. Get outside and get some sun before the winter weather traps us all inside even more. One thing I've been wanting to try recently is my local frisbee golf course. It's cheaper and easier than regular golf. It typically only requires an initial purchase of the discs that you use. Oftentimes the actual course is free. If there isn't a good space that fits the criteria of 1, cheap, 2, consistent, and 3, has an easy exit plan in case things go tits up, you might need to take that extra step and create a space until you can find someone to hang out with. Start a Facebook group of local people who drink iced coffee, and set up a low-stakes meeting at a place that just opened up. A brand new place that nobody's probably been to yet is a really good conversation starter. Make fun of the menu, complain about how expensive it is. There's always a new coffee place opening up nowadays. You could even just skip the whole Facebook group part entirely and just talk to the people waiting in line. The advice, find a social place to hang out, is extremely basic, but it's only effective if you're creative enough. Right now, take 5 minutes to write down some ideas so you don't forget them. Keep adding to that list whenever you get a new idea, and you can view that list as a bunch of excuses to leave the house. Number 2, find common ground and redirect the conversation to an object.
Hammock, look at this car, just got for 20 quid.
Nice tattoo, where'd you get that one? Man, this iced coffee kinda sucks. Let me look up the ingredients. Can you tell I'm drinking iced coffee while writing this script? Spoilers, it's not very good. I was driving by Burger King and I saw they were advertising it. I've never once driven myself to Burger King, but I'm always down to try some new iced coffee. At least it's not as bad as Bojangles. I tried that one last week. That shit was foul. But yeah, always try to find a subject that's easy to talk about. Even better, one that's easy to complain about. Number 3, make it clear as soon as possible that you're not gay. Wait, before you try to cancel me, hear me out. This isn't like a homophobic thing, but if you're being honest with yourself, you're a straight guy. If a guy approaches you and is suddenly very nice to you, your first thought is always, is he hitting on me? I don't know why this is the case, but it just is for a lot of interactions. If you are gay, then I'm not gonna lie. Trying to make other platonic male friends this way is going to be even harder. But I would wager that you know how to make the intention clear. Romantic or platonic, it's one or the other. Straight guys just need to get better at that, especially straight guys that aren't overly macho. As soon as you can, give off cues that you're looking for something platonic. Steer the conversation to something that sounds straight. Sports, girls, beer. Is that really it? I'm not gonna lie, I'm having trouble coming up with ideas here. But I know it's something that you should do. It shouldn't have to be spoken out loud. Speaking of which, this is where those nonverbal cues come in handy. Rough up your clothes, slouch, manspreading. I swear this video is not a tutorial for how to be a homophobe. But, as a guy who's been confused for being gay way too many times, and the number of times this probably prevented me from making a new friend is staggering and depressing. It's not even the fact that I might be gay that's the problem, it's that when I go up to talk to someone, they're immediately unsure whether I'm hitting on them or not. Taking the mystery out of the interaction is what you want to be doing here. Number 4, never directly ask to hang out with a guy. You gotta work in little details into the conversation. Openings. You know, in the middle of a conversation, say something like, I go to the gym every Thursday and blank. This is a really good opener for the other person to suggest meeting up at the gym. Both of you brought it up together, so it's not as sudden or unexpected. If you don't go to the gym every day, replace it with something else you do regularly. I get iced coffee every day from blank. Or you could say something you intend to do. I heard that new iced coffee place just opened up, I've been meaning to go. In that exact sentence, you're not asking somebody to go with you, but you're making a perfect layup for that other person to suggest it. And it's gotta be something with a relatively easy exit plan. It shouldn't have a time requirement to it. Suggesting a movie is a decent enough idea, but it doesn't have a good exit plan because leaving a movie halfway through isn't normal, and it's going to be obvious that you're not having a good time. Getting food or coffee is easier, because you could easily say that, oh, I have something in 30 minutes that I forgot about, you know? I didn't pay just to sit here. It's more believable. Just like in dating, you have to suggest places and events that are easily abandoned if the other person is giving you the ick. I mean, it happens. Lastly, I want to bring up the ultimate combo. Pizza, beer, and a project. The holy trinity of men's interactions. I tried this recently on a friend, and he was immediately down. I worked into our conversation that, you know, I kinda need to paint my room in my new house, and I was probably gonna get pizza and beer. Bam, done. He was hooked on the idea. That combination just makes everything so much easier. You know, I have to build a deck, gonna get some pizza too. The project could be anything, the more physical, the better. Maybe you have to build some furniture. Maybe you have to clean out the shed. Everything I'm suggesting is a distraction from the conversation. That's just how we operate. Men need to distract themselves from the fact that they're having a conversation. All in all, there's something I need you to know. If you're an adult man and you're basically friendless, or if you don't have constant friend interactions, it's not entirely your fault. This is just the reality for adults. No one ever told me it's completely normal to have no friends basically when you come out of school and into the real world. Most adult men are just friends with their wife's friends' husbands. At least, that's what I have observed. So trying to artificially create a friendship is going to seem weird, but you'll figure it out. Give it enough tries and something will stick. Look at it this way. Yes, it's awkward just going up to a guy and talking. But unlike a date, you know that they probably aren't going to call the police if you misread a signal. Unless you're like physically threatening or using language that sounds threatening, they're not going to do that. They're just going to look at you kind of weird and walk away. The rejection won't hit as hard as romantic rejection, and the consequences for, saying something stupid are generally lower. All of this is to say, you got this. My name is Candles. I love you all. Good night.